Hey guys, Tropics here, and welcome to another video. And today I will be showing you guys how to stream with Streamlabs OBS. This is basically just regular OBS, except it's a third-party version that Streamlabs made. So without further ado, let's crack straight into this video. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open the Streamlabs website in any browser of your choice. I will have a link to this exact page down below. It'll be the first link. So if you don't want to go ahead and search that up, then you can just click the link and it'll send you right to here. So once you're on this website, there's a lot of stuff here, but what we're going to focus on is just this button. So we're going to download Streamlabs, and we're going to wait for that to download. You're going to go ahead and left click that, and you're going to hit I agree, and you're going to hit install, and you're going to do all the other prompts it tells you to do, but I'm not going to install it because I already have it on my system. So when you're all installed and everything, you're going to want to start OBS up, and your OBS might not look like this when you first start it up. It will probably ask you to log in with one of your social medias like Twitch or YouTube, and you want to go ahead and you want to log into the one you're going to be streaming on. So if you're streaming on YouTube, log into YouTube, and if you're streaming on Twitch, then log into Twitch. But if it doesn't prompt you and it just sends you to this screen, don't worry. All you got to do is go down here to the settings window, and you go to stream, and all you have to do is log in down here. It's going to be down here in the bottom left, and just log in with your respective platform. I'm going to log in with Twitch, so I will be back with you guys when I'm done logging in. Alright, so I'm all logged in now, and once you're logged in, you'll see like this little mini feed thing, and you might even see your chat right here to the right. And if you don't see it, all you got to do is just press the arrow that'll be on the side here, and you can even drag this and resize it. And you can kind of drag every window and resize it. I tend to have the mini feed a little bit smaller, just because, you know, it's not really too important to me at least. But we'll make it about that big, and you can size this and make it however big you want by dragging these down. You can also make this as big as you want. I'm probably going to make it about that big. And yeah, just play around and resize your windows, get comfortable. And once you're done doing all that, you can actually go back into the settings here. So we're just going to run through the settings as quick as we can and as effective as we can while I try to explain most things that are important. So here in the general settings, there's nothing really too important. Your language here, I chose English, of course, because I speak English. And you can, most of this stuff is really personal preference type things. But now we're going to go over to stream, and stream you don't have to do anything if you logged in with something, but if you don't have, if you don't like want to log in with that for whatever reason, you can stream to a custom server and use your stream key that you get on Twitch. And then we're going to go to output. So output mode, you want to choose advanced. It'll give us a little bit more options to mess with and customize. And for streaming, I choose audio track 1. And there's a lot of different audio tracks, but for now we'll just go with the first audio track. And the encoder, you want to choose your hardware, NVENC, if you have a NVIDIA graphics card. If you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, just choose X264. The NVIDIA one actually uses your graphics card to process the video and encode it, as well as your CPU, so it uses both of them, which means it won't slow down your computer as much. And apparently, I have 2 threats, so we're just gonna go ahead and clear that. Anyways, so we're gonna go with the NVENC because I have an NVIDIA graphics card, and the way if you check if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, by the way, is you can right-click on your desktop, and if you see NVIDIA control panel, that means you do have an NVIDIA graphics card. If you do not see that, then you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card. Not to worry, if you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, you can just use X264 and it'll go off your processor only. So we're going to go with NVENC just because why not? I have the extra processing power, it'll help me out a little bit. Highly suggest you do that if you have an NVIDIA GPU. So we're going to go ahead and check enforce streaming service encoder settings. And we are going to uncheck rescale output because we're not really trying to scale anything right now. And the rate control, we're going to go with CBR, which means constant bitrate, which means the bitrate of your stream will not change. It will stay at a constant at whatever you set it to. So this bitrate right here, it'll stay at 2500 if you set it to 2500. So before we get into bitrate and all this stuff right here, I also want you to click on the second link, which is going to be a speed test. So we're going to go ahead and run this speed test really quick. And you guys should do the same, just so you know how fast your internet is. It'll give you a little bit of information in regards to what settings you should choose for your bitrate and your resolution, frame rate, all that. Because all this really depends on your internet speed. Of course, it depends on your system as well, but your internet speed is the most important factor right here. So I have a download of 209.94 megabytes per second, and my upload is roughly around 20-ish. So it's a 23.44. So with that in mind, you're going to click on the third link. And what this is going to be is it's going to be kind of a guide that tells you what bitrate you should be using for which resolution and frame rate. So let's say I wanted to stream 1080p at 60 frames per second. It would tell me that my resolution should be 1920 by 1080, and my video bitrate range, which is going to be this number right here, this bitrate, should be anywhere between 4500 at the lowest and 9000 at the highest. So that goes by kilobits per second. So let's say I have 20 megabits per second, right? That would be 20,000 kilobits per second, I believe. Yes, so that would be 20,000 kilobits per second. So let's say you have 10 megabits per second upload speed. You would have about 10,000 kilobits per second. That's what it would translate to. That's just a rough translation. It's going to be a little bit different because I'm not using the exact measurements, obviously, but it'll be about that. So you want to look at your speed test, right? And it says I have a 23 upload, so I could stream 1080p no problem. You would use about half of my internet usage depending on what I put on. If I use 9,000 kilobits per second, it would use probably a little bit under 50% of my internet usage. And you can click on these other ones too, and it'll say like 1080p 30 frames per second will go from 3000 to 6000, and 720p 60 fps will go 1280 by 720. If you have a little bit silver PC, you can go 720 or 720 60. I really wouldn't recommend anything under. It's just gonna look really bad. I mean, if you absolutely have to, you can go 480p. But anyways, we're just gonna hop right back into the settings here of Streamlabs. So I want to stream at, let's say, 720, just as an example for this video. So we'll go back to the streaming guide and we'll look at 720p, we'll go 60 FPS. So it says here my resolution should be 1280 by 720. And you get there by going into Streamlabs and going into settings, and you want to go to your video. And you're going to want your base canvas resolution to be the same resolution that your monitor is running at. So the way we find that out is we'll go to display settings and we'll go over to advanced display settings, and you will see that my desktop resolution is 1920 by 1080. It's really a 4K monitor, but I just have it set to 1080p right now just for the sake of this video. So whatever your monitor is, you want to put that as your base canvas resolution. And your output scaled resolution, that's actually what that's what the people are going to see when you stream. So that is going to be basically, it's going to scale down your desktop resolution to whatever resolution you set it at. So let's say my desktop resolution is 1080p. I want it to go to 720p, so I'd put 1280 by 720. And then your downscale filter, it depends on what you do. So if you want to stream 1080p and your base canvas resolution is also 1080p, then you can use bilinear because it's the fastest, but it's blurry if you're scaling. And scaling means that basically if you're going down in resolution like we are right now. So we're going from 1080p to 720p. So we wouldn't want to use bilinear because it's going to be blurry. So we would either go bicubic or I don't know how to pronounce that and I never use it. I just go bicubic. And then FPS type, I choose common FPS values. And then for the FPS, we're going to go with the crisp 60 here. You can change it to 30 if your system can't handle rendering 60 frames per second on a live stream. But I'm going to choose 60 for this video. So we're going to go over to output now. And we're going back to this bitrate setting. So you're going to go back to the guide and you're going to look at the bitrate it tells you. So personally, what I would do is I would start out with the lowest video bitrate range it suggests you, and then go up gradually if your internet can handle it. That's what I do. If I'm streaming 720p 60 FPS, I go around like a 4000 bitrate, 3500 sometimes, depending on how fast my internet is at the time. So I'm just gonna go 3500 right here, and that's gonna be that. That's all the things we have to learn about bitrate and resolution right now. So the keyframe interval, I usually set at 0 to set it to auto. And the preset, this is really depending on how fast your computer is. I choose quality because my computer is pretty decent. And if you don't have the best computer, you can choose performance or even max performance. But I'm just gonna go quality for this video. And the profile is how your video's kind of mainly gonna be rendered. So main is kind of like your normal one, and high is going to be a little bit extra quality. So I go high. If your system can't handle it, again, you can go main. There's not really too much of a difference in that anyways, that I can tell. Max brief frames I set at 2, and GPU I set at 0. 0 means auto, so it'll automatically select my GPU. So now we're going to go over the audio tab, and our sample rate should be set to 48 kilohertz. Doesn't matter what kind of PC you have, 48 kilohertz is what you should select. Channels, I go with stereo. And desktop audio device 1 is actually going to be what you're getting your sound from, what you're listening to all your sound from your computer to. So me, I'm using my headphones, specifically the game mode and not the voice mode, so I would choose game. That's where all of my audio comes from. And then desktop audio device 2, you can even select the second one if you want, and you can change it to be things like, let's say you wanted a different audio device for Discord. But we're not going to set that up in this video just because it's going to drag the video out way too long, and I don't want to do that. So we're going to go over to our mic here, and you're just going to simply set it to the microphone you want to use. I use a Blue Yeti microphone, so I'm going to set it to that. And then you can even have multiple different mics right here, but I only have one, so I'm just going to set one. And video, we already went over that. And hotkeys, you can set different hotkeys to, let's say, start streaming or stop streaming and all sorts of stuff, but I don't really use the hotkeys that much, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. And then we can go into the advanced settings here. Our process priority we'll set at normal. I wouldn't really mess with this too much. It kind of messes up OBS and your system in general, because if you select high, it'll actually make your computer run this faster than all the other applications in your computer. So like, let's say you're recording a game, it'll make this run faster in your game, and sometimes your game will actually lag because of it. So I just go normal. Color format, this is personal preference really, all this stuff down here. I choose NV12, I think it looks the best, and for the color space I do 709 because I think that looks the best, and I choose partial for the YUV color range because I think that looks the best. And I check Force GPU as a render device because I do have a GPU. If you don't have a GPU, then that setting might not even be there for you. If it is, just uncheck it, because if you don't have a GPU, then there's no point in checking that. And then all this stuff down here I don't really mess with at all. Scene collections, don't mess with. The notifications, I have them on for now. I don't even know what the notifications are. I'm thinking it has to do with something with like if someone follows or something, no idea. But you can also change the appearance. I have night mode on right now. That's what day mode looks like. Oh, that hurt my eyes. Remote control, virtual webcam, and game overlay are all things I'm not going to mess with. And then there's Prime, but you have to pay for that, which I don't have right now because I don't really think it's worth it that much. So yeah, so now we got all our settings set up. So how do you actually stream? So you're going to have this window right here. These are going to be your scenes, and you're going to have your sources right here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hit this plus and add a new scene. You can name it whatever you want. And a scene is basically going to be a folder for all the stuff you want to record, right? So click on your scene, make sure it's selected, and then you want to hit this plus button under the sources, and then you want to hit if you're capturing a game, for example, which is what I'm going to be doing here, and this is probably what most people are going to be using OBS for anyways. We'll go to game capture, and we'll add that source. And then it's going to ask you to add an existing source if you have existing sources, but I'm just going to add a new one. And then you can even name it what you want. So I guess I'm going to record Escape from Tarkov right now, so we'll name this Tarkov, and we'll add the source. So what you want to do here is just leave this here for now, and then what you want to do from here is you want to open whatever you want and run the game that you want to record before you do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Escape from Tarkov here. So when the game is starting to run, you want to go ahead and, if the game's already running, you just want to simply Alt-Tab out and then go into your OBS settings. And then when it says mode, you actually want to go to capture specific window, and under window, you want to select the game that's currently running. So me, Escape from Tarkov, I'm going to select that. And all this stuff down here, I don't really mess with that much. I want it to capture my cursor, so I leave that on. But all the other stuff, you don't really have to worry about too much. Hook rate, I set to normal. Then we're going to click done. And as you see here, Escape from Tarkov is recording, and it is here. So if you want to add other stuff like follower goals and alert boxes and all this other stuff, you can mess with it. I'll actually do tutorials on most of these things later on if you guys want. But we're just going to go simple bare bones and just stick with gameplay here. So when you actually want to go live, you're going to hit this go live button. And then once you go live, you go over to your stream manager. So you're gonna click on here, and you're gonna go to back to Twitch. Well, if you're on the Twitch home screen, you're gonna want to go to creator dashboard, right? And this will bring you to your stream manager, and this will have all your stuff you can do with your stream and everything like that. So with that being said, that is how you stream with Streamlabs OBS. That's all you really need to know in the beginning, and that's just everything you need to know for basic knowledge. Anyways, if you need help with anything from this video, or you're stuck on something, or you just need help, or anything like that, you can actually join my Discord. I'll have a link below. I actually just made a new one, and here it is right here. Only got 4 members in there because I literally made it about like an hour ago. So yeah, you can join there if you have any problems, and I'll try my best to answer you and help you out. So I will also be doing an update video soon for those of you wondering where I've been and stuff like that. And I actually will be uploading a lot more frequently, so you can expect to hear more from me. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.